Welcome to the Amanita Effect, a podcast where we get into in-depth conversations about all things Amanita, navigating our way through the mycelial network of personal stories, beliefs, concepts, and thoughts. James, owner of the Botanical Sage, and I have been working together in developing our friendship over the past couple years. I found a really strong ally and friend in him. His personal story is incredible. The journey he's been catapulted on is really exciting on all fronts. His work with the mushroom and with getting it out to more people is really inspiring, and I'm so glad to be able to dive into everything with him in our second ever episode of the Amanita Effect. Enjoy. How are you, man? What's new, brother?
I'm good, man. Things are going crazy. We're in preclinical testing with some of that muscaria pain cream that we make, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, tell me about that. So, like, how are you getting that done? Who are you doing that with?
I believe like you a lot. I dig in, and when I get my mind set to something, and I just got to figure it out. Even the lab said to me, "How did you find us?" They are a testing company for the federal government of Canada for NHPs. So in that, I ended up reaching out to them, touch base. I was more looking for advice and direction, and then they started asking, "Well, what are you looking for? What are you doing? What do you got?"
Yeah.
So I started talking to them because here in Canada, our NHPs are approved for muscaria.
Right.
So far, it's not for internal use per se, but it's not illegal to possess. Use it the way you want it for whatever tests you might see fit.
Right.
That opens a lot of doors. But with the topical, because it's topical, there was none of those restrictions that were in place. So originally, this opens up such a can of worms, Christian.
I'd love to get into it.
All right. So I guess I'm going to have to rewind, and I'll have to come back to your question here, telling you about the clinical testing.
Sure.
So you and I have known each other for some time now, and you've gotten to know me a bit and my story. And I guess my story, I'll go back so other people can hear it and understand what's going on. So I was originally a red seal steam fitter, red seal plumber, valve technician. I worked every industrial site in Canada, from power plants to battleships to oil fields. I had a 25-year career, and January 7th, 2020, I had a terrible accident at work where I broke my right arm backwards. And if you recall, that was right before COVID slammed us all.
Mm-hmm.
So with all the COVID restrictions, they shut down all the hospitals, the doctor's offices, everything. That's another story on itself. But so I ended up not getting any treatment from January 7th, 2020 till November 2020. So I had to live with crushed ulnar nerve, and most folks will think of that as their funny bone. And
not too funny, I would imagine.
Definitely not too funny, and it's still not funny. So what ended up happening is a disease called complex regional pain syndrome set into my body. Typically, it happens from an injury that is not properly healed or taken care of. In other words, me taking 10 months to get treatment from a doctor or anything else. It's a case where your brain is in the fight or flight mode because you're injured. And we all know when we're injured, your first thing is you panic and you want to get safe. That's our first thing.
Sure.
But when your body lives in that for too long, were you saying something there, Christian?
No, I said sure. Yeah. Yep.
And when it lives in it too long, it forgets how to turn it off. So I had an operation, 21 staples, relocated the funny bone of the ulnar nerve. Mine now runs through here, whereas yours runs back here. Or all the other folks out there. That in itself, all the lateral nerves were cut in order to move it, causing chronic nerve pain in my body. It was terrible. Many nights up dry heaving, and I started looking, and I don't like taking things that cause me to feel worse or cause other issues. So I had been raised all my life in the woods, foraging. I knew the benefits of mushrooms. I knew the benefits of natural herbs. So I was seeking. And all the while I was seeking, I was also combating the loss of identity, the loss of my career, the loss of all my sporting activities, camping. I was a certified rock climbing instructor, backwoods country guide, canoeing. All of it was gone. And I was left, I'm going to say, in a puddle of pain. And I lost my identity and who I was. So I kind of thought to myself, well, okay, dude, it's either roll over and die or pick yourself up and keep going. And that was a very crucial moment. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate with that exact moment in that. Because part of me, I wanted to die. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We can edit that out. No worries.
Part of me wanted to die in that moment. So I sought help for my head and slowly started to climb out of my misery. In the process, I was trying to think, okay, well, what are you going to do with your life? You can't do your job anymore. You can't do the sports. Your retirement's gone. I was planning on being a backcountry rock climbing guide in my retirement. Well, that was gone. So I decided I was going to go back to school. But to do what? I always dreamt of doing business, so I jumped on the international business diploma program first. And I only picked international because it gave me more than regular business did. Still unsure of my path forward, I graduated that, started looking into it, found out I was not career ready from just a diploma program. I enrolled into my Bachelor of Business Management for my degree. More looking towards going the entrepreneurial angle. And as I advanced through that program, leaning heavily on the entrepreneurial side of things, and I minored in politics. I know it seems like a strange blend, but it's all paying generously now. I ended up year 3. Yeah, year 3. By that point, I had received a lot of help from my psychologist and re-identifying myself, becoming the new version, or let's not even say the new version. Let's say what was the authentic version of whom I really was, instead of this grocery list that the world makes us try to achieve. Get a career, buy a house, buy this fancy car, have kids. Yeah, it really was superficial in the long run of it all. And I ended up saying, when was my happiest? And I remembered my Nan. When she'd take me for a walk and she'd find 4-leaf clovers and she would point out this plant or that plant. And I thought, geez, I was really happy then. All right. So I started doing my homework and I found, let me back up there. She always said I was going to be a sage someday.
Look at you now.
So I love the woods. I grew up roaming 8, 10, 12 clicks back in the bush by myself, my fishing rod, my buddy burner. I'd cook fish on the side of the river and I'd pick mushrooms. And that's when I was my happiest. So I did my homework and I looked into it and I found out that the NHPs, as much as they're trying to be silenced, trying to be stopped, realized that was my path forward and my happiness, my identity, and to help myself. A mutual friend of ours, Amanita, I reached out to her and I started talking with her, and her courses helped me a lot. And I realized, wow, okay, how do I get this? what can I do with it? So I let's do the Alice in Wonderland. I went down the rabbit hole, and I didn't just go down the rabbit hole. I went down several inside of one another. And after about a year, I realized there was some real medicine here. And I started sampling it myself. I first found an organic cream made by a family here in Canada. I started blending extracts that I made myself. I blended in and I tried it topically, and I was starting to get some serious relief. Like, I had at the time been on heavy medications, 3,600 milligrams, experimental, gabapentin and Cymbalta for chronic pain management and neuropathic pain. It was causing my memory loss. It was causing me to stammer. I was actually starting to fade away as a sentient being. I was becoming a drone. I was almost dead in my brain. So I got to say it, this Amanita Muscaria reduced my medical intake of these drugs by 50% in a matter of 3 weeks. So I was like, okay, man, like, this is definitely something we got to look at. So I started out of my garage, actually. I just put a thing on Google and medicinal mushroom and herbs. And when I started, it was actually growing lion's mane and turkey tail and growing them, trying to help people. But it didn't work. And then all of a sudden I was like getting phone calls. You're an herb guy? Yeah. Can you get, or do you have? Yeah, I got it. And they'd show up at my garage and I'd hand them a bag of herbs. And
that's awesome.
That's like back in the day, you know.
deal in legal mushrooms.
Right. But it was more than that. It was, it was herbs and different products from nature and stuff. And, I ended up, I just had a cardboard box on the floor in the garage, and I'd throw the cash in the box, and I'd make an order and fill the box back up. And finally, after a few months, I was having too many people show up, and the wife was like, this has got to stop, man. You got too many strangers showing up to the door. It looks bad. So I said, okay, well, we went down to the local market one weekend. We're just looking for something to do. And I ended up in the office, and she's looking everywhere for me. And I didn't say I was going into the office. And I ended up renting a booth. Booth. And we started at first with just 100 herbs and just your main mushrooms. And I had acquired a little bit of Amanita Muscaria. Nothing major. I look back on the photos and I giggled to myself, look how small it was. Look, you had nothing. And we've grown and expanded, and now we have doubled in size. But the one thing I really need to focus on here is that Amanita Muscaria mushroom. I really do. That quintessential mushroom. Mario Brothers, Alice in Wonderland, you name it. It's out there. It's everywhere. So I said, okay, well, people were asking me for, can you get this? Can you? So it took me a long time. And I mean, a fair amount of hours. You had to get the algorithms on the programs to start picking up stuff, which was a tough doing. Well, as you know, I come to know you, Christian, and we've collaborated together on a fair amount of projects thus far. And gratitude to you, sir, for you and everything.
Right back at
thank you, sir. But I started to develop. I started to get the extracts, and I started to solubility rates getting up. And the next thing I know, I'm helping people, and people are coming back and they're crying. Women come in, they had their neck broken 15 years ago, and it was never healed, and they suffered in chronic pain. They couldn't even put the cream on. My wife is putting the cream on for them. And they break down inconsolably crying. And I mean, in a matter of 6, 8, 10 seconds, this mushroom is so magical. And no, not a magic mushroom, but a mushroom that has magic. And and she's crying inconsolably. My wife's hugging her and holding her. And this started happening more and more. And then I started to feel cathartic in helping people. By helping others, I was healing myself. And that is something that's really changed who I have become and what I am. And gratitude every day to the universe that I'm on the list to wake up and I get to spend more time with my loved ones and my family, and I get to help people that are suffering. That really is something that is big. And through the growing of this company and reaching out, I've met a lot of people, a lot of really great people, a lot of people with some great stories. They're not my stories to tell, but back to the question.
So, well, before we get into all that, let's dig into some of this a little bit more. I'm really curious about. I think most people, maybe not. Well, yeah, pretty much everybody that comes to this mushroom. First off, there's some sort of impetus that brings them here, right? Like some sort of large trauma, whether it's more recent or childhood, and maybe it's not even that obvious of a trauma, but I think generally, like everybody that comes to this is looking for some sort of healing in some way or another. I think also everybody has there's almost this like calling, this like magnetism, this heart pull into it, which is what, for people that are familiar with my story, when I found them going through benzo withdrawal, ready to end my life, like there was the most potent allure that I could have ever come across by that point in time in my life. And I'm curious about, so first off, I'm curious more about what the injury and the trauma like entailed and how that affected you, not just physically but emotionally and spiritually, and what you did to work through that, and then like kind of more of the story that led you into finding the mushroom and getting connected with me, the spiritual story, like the emotional side of the story. I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, well, that mushroom, man. You talk about the spiritual draw. You talk about it. It's almost as if the universe said, "Here, pay attention now. Come on.
Yeah.
We're trying to tell you something here." And I'm wallowing in my pity at the time. And it actually, I went hunting for that mushroom. I went to the woods. I went looking. And it wasn't long before I found out there's really a lot of amanitas out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I could list off easily half a dozen, no problem, that have high medicinal values. But I couldn't find that beautiful little specimen here where we live. And we have what's called the Amanita Muscaria gussawai VAR.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same mushroom, essentially. It just grows here. And it's not red, it's orange. But it led me down a road of learning about Amanita pantherina, Amanita regalis, Amanita pantherinoides. And then I was like, okay, I still hadn't, by that point, if we go back, I wasn't in touch with you at that time. I don't know what was drawing me to it. I can't explain it. It was like this innate force that I had this hunger. I had to learn about mushrooms. And I still hear on my wall, you'll laugh, the different cat styles.
Awesome.
I dug in so hard to learn about mushrooms and how to identify them. And I was on this binge of, okay, lion's mane, turkey tail, chaga, cordyceps. I needed to find them. It was funny because all I was finding was xylomorphs, dead man's fingers. And I was finding all kinds of mushrooms that were not what I needed. And I think when I found the first gussawai, I literally fell to my knees in awe of its actual beauty and nature. It was
they're
this
incredible
awe-inspiring
in
moment.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was like I was on my knees and I was like, the angels were singing, or, that, whoa.
Yeah.
And it was just this perfect moment. I couldn't wait to get home. I didn't want to pick it, but I didn't want to leave it. And at that point, I had been dealing with, I can't think of her name right now. Help me out, Christian. The Amanita.org.
With Dreamer?
Dreamer, yes.
Yeah.
Uh, I had been watching her stuff, so I knew what I was doing. Or, well, I can't say I knew what I was doing, but I knew enough to get myself perhaps in trouble if I wasn't cautious, shall I say?
Yeah.
But really, now I know in the dosage, I had found one mushroom, man. There was no baseline. There was nothing. It was, I took that cap and I swear I held it in my hands like this gem of beauty. And I took it home and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know whether to dry it out and smoke it. I didn't know whether to dry it out and do a partial decarb, to do a full decarb. I didn't know what to do. So I ended up, I tried it out, but this whole time I'm dealing with this beautiful specimen. Like I didn't even want to ruin it when I dried that first cap. It was like I wanted to save it and put it on the wall because the energy off it, it's like it spoke to me. It's like I could hear it singing, its voice. I finally decided that, well, if the universe has brought me to this beautiful one, then the universe, and it was a dinner plate. I have photos of it. I don't think I'll ever delete the photos. So I dried it out in my in my oven, turned it down as low as it'd go, 100 degrees, the door open, and tried that sucker out. As soon as it wasn't even cracker crisp. It was still a little bit moist. I knew it had done a partial decarbonation. Okay. And this time I didn't even know about the lemon juice. So I got it in the water. I broke it, put it in the water, and I'm simmering it. And I get it down about 20 minutes, and I'm straining it off, and I end up to make this juice. And my first time, I took a quarter of a teaspoon, and I just drank it. Well, holy, I'm like, no way. Like, there's just no way. There's just no, okay. This is psychosomatic. I'm completely lost my mind. But no, I drank that not all at once. There's different ceremonies for things like that, but we're not here for that right at the moment. So I ended up talking to a friend of mine because that was working, and I was like, okay, wow. So my friend's a mycologist and really close buddy of mine. I've learned lots from him, Cody. He started teaching me how to make powdered extracts, how to dry after you do the decarb in the water and you evaporate it and whatnot and get her down to what you need. So, okay, I need more. Well, Cody lives up northern Ontario here, and he's got all kinds. My heavens, it was like a playground of beauty. I don't even know what else to call it. They were everywhere. There was pantherinas. There was Muscaria. There was just, well, the Gossawi, not the classic red and white, but Gossawi is still beautiful.
Yeah.
And the pantherina caps, well, I mean, those are spectacularly beautiful as well. I still remember the first one I found with a closed cap. It was a big fatty, like bigger than a golf ball, but it was all perfectly white dotted. And I was just, anyway, I'm running around like this kid in a candy store, and I'm realizing I'm getting scratched. I got tree branches cutting me. I'm like this silly kid. I was 47 or 8 at the time, 47, coming up on 51 here now. I didn't care. I come out of those woods, my ankles were cut, my wrists were cut, my face, necks, climbing in under the tree branches and whatnot, just getting these mushrooms. I mean, I didn't pick them all. I do the rule of the thirds. I always leave mushrooms there, and I always take my caps out in onion bags just to spill the spores. Obviously, you got to take care of nature. I never pick everything. And then I realized how much work was actually going to take and how little you actually got back. And the mushroom, I'm telling you, it laid my path forward. It laid my course. It led me to meet people. I can't claim any responsibility for how this mushroom impacted my life, how it directed me, the people. I came to you. It's how I met you. It's because of that mushroom. Amanita Dreamer, I met her because of this mushroom. Cody, because of this mushroom. Like some of the best people in my life today are from this mushroom. I owe it my own peace, my sanity. I no longer want to kill myself. I manage my pain with this mushroom. And the thing is, you'd think it would stop talking to me at this point. Oh no, no, no,
Oh,
it does not.
it increases.
Um, the communication from it is so incredible. It's like you hear about people going out and they take certain things and they sit under a tree and they take the energy from the tree. Well, I find this mushroom magnify that experience, and I've done that. I've gone to the tree. I've been down those roads and those paths. Um, but this mushroom is something entirely different. It will give to you when it's ready, not when you want it. That it's like its own living entity with its own self-determined interest. It won't give it to you when you want it. It'll give it to you when you're ready, or it decides to give it to you.
That's such an
Um,
interesting
sure,
point
I grew up.
that I think is yeah, it's I don't think it's such a hard thing to explain to customers, for instance. Like one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was, and I know you sell gummies and stuff too, so you do sell for oral ingestion. It's not just purely topical. But one of the things that we brush up against quite a bit is the
Oh,
is
I
the, well,
take
I
them
don't feel
daily, Christian.
anything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, like, we get a lot of the, "Oh, I don't feel anything," or "I don't notice anything," and it truly is. It just like you said, like, if you're not ready, the mushroom's not gonna open its doors to you, and how do you tell somebody that, you know? It's a tricky thing that we have to navigate, and I'm curious, like, how do you work with people on that? Because you don't wanna upset somebody, you don't wanna it's not necessarily, "Well, you're not you're not healed enough, like you can't say that, or you're not ready to for the healing quite enough, like, and that's not quite it either. Like, there's a lot of nuances to it. So what's your take on that, and how do you convey that message to the customer?
Well, like you say, I'm going to say that um, took some time to get to where I am now. It was very difficult, as you said. Typically, now I tell people, what is it you're looking for? So I ask a question back, the Socratic method, if you will, almost. Um, well, I want to get high.
Mhm.
Well, your interests in this mushroom aren't what the mushroom wants to give right now. Um, if you were looking or speaking or communicating with the mushroom in a different manner, it will unveil itself to you. Um, these are not magic mushrooms. They're not psilocybin. That's not what they are. They are psychoactive, but people misunderstand psychoactive and psilocybin. Two entirely different things, two
Yeah.
entirely different chemicals, if you will. And one is not the same as the other. That's like me saying, well, you know, I have a teaspoon of water from the ocean. What is the difference, or what is the same? One is of the other, but they're not the same. So I explain to people that if that's all you're after, it's not going to unveil itself to you. Um, maybe try meditating. Maybe try focusing on healing, whether it be your ADHD, your childhood trauma. Um, focus on do your what do they call it, your dark work on yourself. Do some
The shadow work.
introspection.
Yeah.
Shadow work. Thank you. That was the word I was
Yeah.
looking for, brother. Thank you. If you're just looking to go out and yay, woohoo, have a good time, this is not the mushroom. First of all, you shouldn't drink alcohol with it. Like, second of all, it's a CNS suppressor. Um, alcohol would be a very bad choice. This is more about healing, and it's yourself, your identity, your soul, your body, your mind, your heart. It's about healing your past and helping with generate your future. It's not about sitting down and, oh, I'm going to get racked. It's the wrong mindset. So I explain that just the way I just did to you. And I think some get annoyed and I just wasted my money. But for the majority, I think I've reached them. And then they come back to me and they're like, I think you're right. I think I was approaching it wrong. Um, I mean, there's so many medicines in this, and both sides of it, the IBO and the muskmol and the parcels, that both simultaneously are all different for different things.
Mm-hmm.
This mushroom is ancient. Well, first of all, we share more DNA with mushrooms than we do with anything else on this planet, for one.
Yep.
So we're genetically linked to mushrooms. This mushroom knows us better than we know ourselves because it's the largest, oldest living entity on this planet. Like, it's been around through all the spiritual evolutions of this entire planet's history. It knows more about us than we know about us. And it is truly a living entity that I don't even know how to word it really. I'm still so awe-inspired by Amanitas. They are. And I mean, they're not all medicinal. I mean, Amanita caesarea. And I mean, that's how a lot of
Mm-hmm.
poisonings happen. Amanita caesarea are a gourmet mushroom, and they're red, and, they're beautiful. But an Amanita muscaria, after a heavy rain, can lose its white dots, and people make the mistake, and then they go have a big feed of muskmol. Well,
Sure.
what's going to happen if I swallow a bottle of aspirin?
Yeah.
It's it things happen, and you got to learn how to identify.
Mm.
It's
Yep.
of the utmost importance. I mean, I don't even look at that thing anymore, but it's identifying. It's learning to communicate with the universe and this mushroom. And it's not just the mushroom. The mushroom is the very small part. Let's be honest. It's the network underground. It's under our feet everywhere we go. It hears our voice. It hears us talking. It hears our intent. It knows it's all around us. And if you think the mycelial network aren't interconnected between everything underground, I mean, a lion's mane speaks to an amanita, which speaks to the trees. Like, there's nowhere you can't go and this not understand who you are, what your intent is, and what you're trying to achieve. Um, so I think when you go at that mushroom, it already knows your intent. And if it's of ill intent and not the benefit of yourself, your spirit, your soul, your mind, your body, it's not going to reveal itself. Would you agree to that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Yep. And I think a lot of times people aren't aware of their intent either, but they're ready. And in that sense, it's going to absolutely reveal itself. There's a lot of times where people are not aware and they're not ready at all, and it takes a little bit of a nudge in the right direction to find those doors and to open them up. But yeah, yeah, absolutely. What do you think about? So you brushed a little bit on ceremonial use in larger doses. What's your experience with larger doses? What's your protocol with Amanita, I guess? Like how do you take it? Are you microdosing it daily? How often are you doing the larger doses? What do those doses look like?
Okay, well, I think that would be different for everybody on the larger dose or ceremonial side of things. I personally, due to my own pain, I take either, well, I take capsules some days, 500 milligrams. And even on that, I got to tell you, my mother has MS, and I was on the phone with her just before I was talking to you today here. And she said her back was out. She was hurting, and she suffers with extreme arthritis in her spine and MS. For me, like, that's not even a dose. That's microdosing to me, but it manages my pain. And if I get a peak after that, then I'll pop a gummy. Um, that's day to day for me. That's every day of my life. But it stops me from having to do this,
Yep.
um, which gives me clarity of mind, which helps me. So, and again, I'm 300 pounds, 6'4". My dose can't be reflective on other people. They need to find that themselves, and be cautious. Um, and as far as ceremonial goes, I have since I learned about the lemon juice or the citric acid. I have refined my process, shall we say. But that took a lot of introspection and reading and talking with the mushroom and learning the mushroom. Because, two mushrooms beside one another are not the same. One can be very potent and one not at all. So typically I will take, say, 15 different caps. I put them into the water all together. So what I do is I take 15 caps, dry, cracker crisp dry, 15 caps. I put it into a cup and a half of water on the stove on the lowest setting, and I wait till it just starts to simmer, and then I start the timer. I put it for 20 minutes. I add my citric acid, quarter teaspoon, what have you. I simmer it for another 10 minutes. I let it cool down. I strain it. I process it so it's cleaner, so I don't have the either sand or whatever in the bottom. So it turns out it's this beautiful, beautiful orange colored liquid. And I have drank it that way.
I drank. I just finished 5 grams going into this, so just took my last sip.
Oh, nice. Oh, there you go. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, oh yeah.
For me, I mean, I've been where you're at right now. I've many times. I've gone a little higher too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Not recommended for noobs or people that don't know what they're doing.
Of course.
I highly do not recommend that. I find it, for me, it suppresses that noise in my brain. It gives me focus. It calms me. It allows me to focus on what I'm doing, whatever it might be. Some of my best clients are songwriters or book writers, or and they do larger doses, and they go on, for lack of a better term, tangents, shall we say, in what they do.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it helped me get through university. I got to tell you. But even when you come across something in life where you just get knocked down emotionally or spiritually, and we all have it. Everything's going good. It's going good. It's going good, and then there it is. Something goes wrong, and it affects you, and it brings you down. Well, I used to say I'm depressed. I don't say that anymore. I say depression is upon me. I'm being oppressed by it.
You don't need to make it a part of who you are. It's something that you're possessing in that moment and experiencing.
And beautiful Amanita taught me how to separate that. The emotions we feel is not what we are, who we are. It teaches you to identify this, and then when you identify that and you learn to process things differently. And when you're processing these things, like mine, it's pain, or it's because of depression, or because of my pain, I go into insomnia states, which beautiful Amanita helps me sleep. It promotes restorative sleep. Or I go the other way where I sleep too much, but I'm up and down, and then I feel like I'm missing life, or I'm angry with myself because why am I not sleeping? Beautiful Amanita. It is and has transformed my life to the point of literally, I walk around and I say gratitude. I say gratitude. You see how I speak with you, Christian. I mean, we speak on the phone all the time, or via text or email. Like, if you were to ask somebody 3 years ago, that's not me. It never was. I have taken, the record is 12 gummies. Fantastic. Yeah. In conjunction with the Blue Lotus. Yeah, it's I wish I did. I wish I could just take it the once and it would just stay with me. But
Sure.
uh, once you have the baseline, though, I feel it's pretty common and pretty chill. It's beautiful. Um, Ceremony and people say, "Oh, ceremony. So what? You got this big elaborate campfire and a teepee, and you're doing this." Ceremony doesn't need to be that. Ceremony is maybe go to the woods barefoot and sit down beside a creek by yourself. You have your cup full. You close your eyes and you listen to the gurgling of a brook, the wind in the trees, the chirps of the birds, the squirrels running. You start to process things in your mind. You start to focus on your inner self. And even like if you speak ill of yourself, you're hurting yourself because yourself doesn't know anything different than what you tell it. You can have that ceremony with yourself, your oneness, and heal those things and realize the damage you're doing to yourself. It's not about ego or arrogance. It's far opposite. It's about humility and peace. It's about centeredness. It's about caring. The, I, I run out of words by times with this mushroom. Uh, I'm awe-inspired by it. It surrounds me. It's everywhere. I mean, I have a carpet over there with it on it. We have the carpet in the kitchen. It just starts to work its way into your life. Like it's just crazy.
That's a good segue. Why do you think it's everywhere? And this is something that, I've grappled with this entire time. Like, why is it? And of course, it's beautiful, like it's mystical, but aside from just the appearance, like, and obviously it's beautiful and mystical, and there's like it tugs on. So, and I guess I'm answering the question while I'm going. Like, we know why it's everywhere, but if you want to expand on that at all, like the idea that it's everywhere, like every child, if you ask a kid, even if they've never seen a picture of an Amanita, if you ask a kid to draw a mushroom, they're going to draw the Amanita muscaria. Like why is that?
Wow. Hmm, you know, let me say this then. That's you're good at these questions, man. Yeah. um, yeah. 5 years ago, I mean, I didn't even know they call it toxic or poisonous. I didn't know the difference between them. I didn't know anything. I was, I, if I threw a mushroom, it would have been the Amanita,
Hmm.
just because it's innate it's in our DNA. It's our
Yep.
culture. It's Santa Claus. It's the Viking berserkers. It's the shamans. It's ingrained in us from a child that is the mushroom. So, is there a hierarchy in the mushroom world in the mycelial network? Is there? Is the Amanita the top? Is it? I mean, us humans come in every color. Why can't the top of the mushroom change?
Yeah.
Um, right? But I find that even just to lay eyes on the mushroom, it brings peace. It's like, okay, everything's going to be okay. Um, you're walking through Home Hardware or a hardware store, Home Depot, and you're going through the garden section, a welcome sign. It's got three Amanitas, and you're having a bad day. You see it, it makes you smile.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
you know, um, as to why, I guess it's like when you buy a car, you think wow, I never see that around. I go have something different. You buy it, and the next thing you know, they're everywhere. Once the mushroom called me, and I truly believe it's like a calling.
Yeah.
I've been called to do what I do. Um, I don't know why. I don't ask that. Maybe that's my next ceremony. Why did you call me? Um,
I think you
there's
said it
no end of ceremony.
earlier, and you said in helping heal others, you're healing yourself. Like that was something that I wanted to touch on. I was going to segue it in the end to that, but this is a good time for that because I think that's it, man. I think that's why the mushroom called you. I think you have, you're on your mission here to help heal the world and raise the consciousness of humankind, help individuals heal, which heals the collective. And in doing that, you're healing yourself, and you heard the calling. I think you wrote it. I think you wrote this into your blueprint before coming here. You heard the calling. Like, um, yeah, we're on a really, I mean, me personally, like, and particularly anybody that works with this mushroom with other people, like, I feel like it's one of the most sacred things one can do. If this is truly the king, right? If this is truly the one, then we're purveyors of the one in a sense. Like we're the people spearheading the mass healing of humanity, and that's something to first grapple with, because like what a fucking mission, excuse my language, but then also to be extremely extremely proud of and humbled by, and lots and lots and lots of gratitude for, because yeah, I think, I see what you're doing and how you're getting the mushroom out, and you are changing people's lives, and throughout that process you're changing your own line and your life, and you're receptive to that change, and that's you're receptive to that change you're receptive to that change, and that's why the mushroom chose you. And I think anybody on this healing journey, like, I mean, I don't know, I just anybody that's working with this mushroom on a scale with other people, like, they have to be receptive to that internal healing that it's producing, because, and particularly with this, like, we can't help others without helping ourselves. And the amount of healing that we have internally is the amount of healing that we're able to help bring, to facilitate, or help another come to on their own. And so, yeah, I think really it's the fact that you did the work, you're doing the work, you're continuing to do the work. Like, this work is never ending. Maybe it ends at some point. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet, but like that's the reason that you
Totally.
were chosen. And that's the reason that you decided to go on this path.
You know, I don't know what we can and can't talk about on here. I don't know what my
You talk about anything,
limitations
brother.
are.
Yeah, talk about anything.
Okay, well, then I got to say, we just talked about the king of the mushrooms or the mycelial network or whatever. But there's for me, after I got hurt, I was on a quest. I was on a journey. I was seeking. I didn't know what I was seeking. I didn't know what to look for. And I've always been a country boy and backwoods guy. I know people, and I started with God dosing magic mushrooms, right? 15, 20 grams.
Nice.
But I was seeking. I was going. I was genuinely seeking the universe. I wasn't looking for a party. I do this by myself, um, in the quiet of my own space. And I'd be asking questions. I'd ask questions. And I'd ask questions. And it was like, okay, well, and now it's ayahuasca. And then you know, I went to the next thing, and I was catching glimpses. I was seeing, for the lack of a better term, the source, the orb, the whatever, the light. I don't know. I don't care. It's not for me to figure that out. But I was seeing it, and I ended up coming across a very wise old hippie friend of mine. And I was telling him I'm on this quest, and I've spoken to elders. I've talked to tribal elders. I have, there's lots of things out there if you want to seek the knowledge of the ancients. Um, what is it? The library they talk about? Anyway, I can't think of the name of the library,
The
but
Akashic records, is that what you're looking at?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. The Akashic records. I ended up getting some really, 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 really good DMT.
Lovely. One of my favorites. It's like
Oh
Amanita
my
and
god!
DMT for me. Like, yeah.
Right?
It's almost as
Absolutely.
if I was talking with Gabe about this the other day. It was actually the last. I don't do Amanita that often these days. I do it like once every couple weeks. Today, I do really really large doses when I do it, and I like to connect to that. I like to connect to the divine as much as I can, and and get as much work done. But I saw in the last large dose of Amanita that I took that Amanita and DMT are like compounds that have an extra dimension added to them, and they're on the opposite end of the polarity spectrum in that extra dimension. So they're complete opposites in a whole nother dimension. And in our dimension, they embody, since they have another dimensional aspect to it, they embody fully the masculine and the feminine, which is like a lot of people like to comment and ask about like, well, is it feminine or masculine? And it's like, well, it's both. It's red and white. It's both of them. And I really like understood, and I'm not articulating it as well as I would like to be, but yeah, I saw this extra dimensional aspect added to Amanita and DMT, and really likely everything. But and Amanita and DMT are complete opposite ends of the spectrum in that extra dimensional addition. Yeah. Anyways, a little interjection, but yeah, continue.
Oh,
Continue with
good,
your
man. Good. That was
your
awesome.
DMT story.
Okay. So, and it's funny that you mentioned what you just mentioned, but I'll come back to the DMT here in 1 second. But so with
Sure.
my injury, one of the clinical treatments is ketamine infusions through IV. I did 5 days, 6 hours a day, intravenous ketamine. And that was at the Toronto Western Hospital here in Canada, one of our biggest, most prestigious scientific study hospitals. And then day 3, the doctor comes into me and he says, "How's it going?" Oh, yeah, well, it's doing this, and I don't think it's quite done. He says, "I'm not asking about that." He says, "I want to know about the spiritual side." He says, "Where have you been?"
It's a good doctor.
Oh, man, he's a great doctor. And all of a sudden, and I saw that twinkle in his eye, he was legit. He really wanted to know. So I unload this, wow, mind-blowing experience of the orb. I mean, it's the beginning, it's the end. It's something, it's nothing. It's everything, it's nothing. It's male, it's female. It's you're there, but you're not. It's indescribable, but fully describable. It's the complete, as you said, the polar opposites. And that's why when you said that, that drew me to this little story here. I'd come out of the hospital in a wheelchair. I couldn't, my wife had to wheel me to the cab. I was so still in other dimensions. And I mean, I celestial travel. I know there's naysayers and this and that, but well, I'm sorry, that's your life. But I really pray that you can find yourself in your world. But back to the DMT. So having done that ketamine and the God doses and the ayahuasca and I was doing this path. I was trying to find, anyway, the long and the short of it. So I got this DMT and I got a couple of pens, to be honest. And so the first one I took a little and it was just like, oh, I couldn't see. I was like, whoa. I mean, I had it before, nothing like this caliber. There was colors and kaleidoscopes. And so the first pen I just played with, in and out. I mean, I did the weeping, the crying to the universe, the weeping from my soul, cleansing my soul, I say, freeing my soul to be receptive. And this is all pre-Amanita. And I said, okay, that calling was happening. So it was late at night. And I thought, all right, let's go for a visit. I go in the bathroom, I get down on my knees, I position myself over the toilet because I know what I'm about to do or what could happen. Boy, was I not prepared. I got 5 giant halls. I couldn't even see on the last one. I don't remember any. Well, I remember everything after that, but I don't remember here in this dimension or this plane or this level. I going into it, I did something really stupid, and I've never touched it again since. Not one.
DMT has a way with it like that, where once you really get there, it's very scary to go back into it.
It taught me.
Yeah.
So I made this stupid comment. Show me the ways of all the sages of all times. Oops. Oops. First, it was great. I was out in the universe somewhere. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Like, it was just awesome. And then I started to zoom speed up, flying through the universe. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go see something else. And then I was watching, I was seeing stuff. And then I sped up faster and faster to the point that the inertia in my gut, I swear I was going faster than the speed of light. And I started screaming. I could feel it through my whole body. This thing lasted about 35, 40 minutes, how deep I went. People say, oh, 10 minutes, 15. This was 35, 40 minutes. My wife woke up hearing me screaming at the top of my lungs. Screaming. She forces her way into the bathroom. And as she opens the door, she sees me like a board plank off the floor, elevated in the air. I hit the floor.
Wow.
I look at her. I'm not here. Just complete blackness. And I'm looking at her and I'm screaming. And I ended up coming to. Well, she didn't know what I was doing. I was an idiot. I should never have done what I did. And I'll never live this down. She called the ambulance. The ambulance comes. I run upstairs in a mad panic. I got to get in the shower. I get cleaned up and I come out the door and there's two ambulance drivers, me butt naked. I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? Give me a sec. I get dressed. I come downstairs. One of them's mad, and the other guy's like grinning from ear to ear. So they're like, what were you on? I'm like, nothing. So finally I spit it out, realizing, like they can't report me, they can't anything, and just make sure I'm okay and all that. And one guy's really angry at me, and the other guy's he's like, you mean like on Joe Rogan? And I'm like, yeah, like on Joe Rogan. Anyway, I slept on the couch that night. Maybe the next week I slept on the couch.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. But the very next day I woke up. It was the palms up thing, gratitude. From that day forward, my life changed. I changed who I am. Everything about me changed. I have never touched it again. In fact, I don't even do magic mushrooms. I don't take anything. I take Amanita. Like, it's the only. I don't smoke pot. I don't eat weed gummies. I like a few beers now and again, not on Amanita. But I don't do anything anymore. I communicate with Amanita. And I got to tell you, that journey, that quest ended there with that. And when I say it ended, it didn't. My quest to learn and find and open my soul had just begun. But the quest to do that had ended because I was there. I reached that point where I had cried the deep cries that I needed to from my trauma as a child, the hurts of life. I cleansed my soul, if you will. And then Amanita came a call.
Is that like what happened in the period after you got faster and faster, preluding your wife coming in? What was your experience?
Well, I don't know. I've always been a closet geek. Have you ever studied the different parallels? Not the different dimensions. What happens in the curvature of light or a planet as you travel past it? What you would see, the vision, the curvature. I'm sure you've delved into that kind of reading and studying.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of that. It got so fast. And I'm telling you, when I say fast, man, I've never experienced anything on Earth like this. I've bungee jumped. I've done all kinds of crazy stuff. I have taken rippers, 100-foot rippers on the side of cliffs. Nothing like this. Nothing compares. I sped up to the point that everything was starting to curve in like this curvature. Then it was like I entered this phase where I had gotten so fast that there was nothing more to see because I was like in this sphere of this glowing, translucent sphere. I could still feel the movement. I could still feel the energy. But there was nothing. But there was everything. I couldn't see anything, but I could feel everything. I really don't have the words to describe, but it was like this inner part of me. I've been somewhere where I'm going to say not a lot of living people probably have been. It helped me. Oh, has it helped me? And I'm still learning day to day. I'm still growing. I just wake up every day hoping I can do better today than I did yesterday. Beyond that, I can't explain it. I don't think fundamentally there is the language to explain where and what at that point. Does that make sense?
Singularity. Reach the
Yeah, like
singularity.
instead of outside the orb looking at the light, I was in the center of it.
Yeah.
It's like I went home.
Yeah. Yep.
Or the creator, the source, the Druids believed in the well. That's not for me to concern myself with. I'm here to live this life and experience this life and to do it the best I can and to help everybody I can. I know this now. I'm not here for my selfish crap. I truly believe this injury, there's a reason why, and you said it, I'm called to this. And
yep.
I believe fully this injury is what was part of precipitating me to follow the direction they were trying to tell me because I was dumb and I was going the wrong way in life. I wasn't listening. I wasn't hearing. This injury, as much as it causes me grief and suffering and pain, it has also given me the most glorious experiences of my life. It's taught me more about myself. It's taught me more about feelings and my spirit and those around me. And I think it enhanced my empathy, my empathic side of myself. I think this is why was the wake up call that they did to tell me, hey, you're not listening, but pay attention now. I'm here to serve a purpose, and I know that now, and I humbly, with gratitude, accept that calling. So yeah, I don't know how I can answer anything more on that particular.
Yeah.
It's just so.
It's a beautiful experience. I've been there. I've been there for sure. So I know exactly what. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's impossible to put into words. It's impossible. But I'm glad that you had that experience. DMT is a very powerful tool and ally for us here. And if you ever decide to go back to it, let me know because we'll have more discussions about it. Because I should make a the DMT effect podcast as well, probably because that's a whole nother realm that I'd really love to get into. So your business, like where you're located in Toronto, yeah.
Just north of Toronto. We're in Barrie, Ontario.
Cool. Yeah. And what all do you offer? Like, what's your day to day like? What are your customers like? Another thing that I'd like to discuss is like the most, like we said, that you heal yourself by healing others. One of the most gratifying things of what I do is hearing emails from people telling their stories. And unfortunately, I don't get that anymore because I don't read the emails anymore. I wish I had time for it. I don't. I barely have time to do what I'm doing these days. But every now and then Lila will be like, hey, this is a really nice one and forward it to me, which is really, really sweet. And it just lights me up, it lights me up. And I get to do expos every now and then. And in the expos, I get to see people's reactions firsthand to the mushroom and trying it for their first time or whatever it may be. And so like part of me is curious, like what's that like to be able to see people's reactions all the time? That's got to just fill you with so much gratitude and humility and love and joy for these people's lives completely being turned around.
I can tell you this, that never gets old.
I bet. Yeah,
Never.
I
I'm pretty sure I end up every single time with the flycatcher's mouth.
bet.
You never are prepared for just how much it can impact somebody's life. I have people that have severe, like clinically severe ADHD that come to me and say, "You've changed my life." I was like, I didn't. I just brought it to you. You're the one who sought it out. You're the one who came and asked about it. I give gratitude to the Amanita or to the universe. Don't give it to me. And they try to weasel their way around that and try to give me the gratitude back. No, it's not me. It's Amanita. It's you got to give the credit when the credit is due. Now, you just asked me a series of questions back to back that
That's
completely
okay.
different from one another.
Yeah, well, yeah. I say, but I'm curious about. So yeah, that's and the way of that's the way of the sage. Like what a sage, like it's none of this is
Yeah,
none of this is me. It will
that's
never
right.
be me. I'm just a cog in the mushrooms machine. Like we're just doing our part. This is much much greater than all of us put together even. But yeah, so what about your business and your day to day, and what does that look like?
Okay, well, let's tie some of this together then, shall we?
Let's do it.
My nan said about being a sage one day. I said that earlier, talking to you about foraging and herbs and mushrooms. And
Yep.
so the name of the company is the Botanical Sage, and that's where that ties together. Is I am the sage my nan spoke of. What do I deal with? Botanicals. So I became the Botanical Sage. Now, I'll do the little bit of the old elevator pitch crap. I hate doing it. I regurgitate it so much now.
Sure. Yeah.
So what we are is we are medicinal mushroom and herb merchants. We import effective medicinal remedies from all over the world. Currently, 8 countries. So that diverse peoples of our country can shop at our apothecary like you did in their home country. Yeah, there's the elevator pitch, but it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. I love it.
And yes, I source a lot of stuff from you. You know that, Christian. Kind of where credit's due. But you source from all over the world, so even by extension, um, it's all from all over the world. Like if
Yeah.
it comes from Africa, it comes from Africa at the end of the day.
Yep.
And there's some great products out of Africa. I look at wow. I mean, but let's tie this DMT trip into this now, shall we?
Sure.
Give me the knowledge of all the sages through the past, present, to the present. That question I never should have asked and went, whoops. I was open to things I never knew before in my life. When I came back from that trip, that traveling, I knew things I never knew before. I looked for things I never saw. I saw things I never looked for. It sounds like I'm speaking riddles, and unless you've been there, you're not going to understand. And I know you do. I can tell you know.
Mhm.
And in all honesty, I find that it's really funny. You want to know what I am and we are in our store? Yes, we're the Botanical Sage. You're nice. Is that right? Nice or nice?
Nice. Nice. Yeah. I'm in nice.
Nice. We are very, very much aligned in our products. I mean, you carry some stuff we're not allowed in Canada. I might have some stuff you don't. You carry Russian shilajit. I carry Nepalese shilajit. But we're very much aligned with one another, and I think that goes to show you the beautiful Amanita is the one behind it all, pulling the strings and directing us. Because how could we not know one another? Be in two separate countries and almost have identical. Our storefronts via internet is the only thing that's different. Products are very similar.
Yeah.
I offer a greater blend of herbs, but really, it's there's lots of studies going on that, how can somebody on the other side of the planet the same night have the same trip, and they can see each other and talk to each other and know that each other
Hmm.
was in that trip. There's more divinity in I think, one strand of that mycelial network of the Amanita than we can comprehend in the human mind. I mean, I don't know, that sounds crazy, but um, look at us. Look at our stores. Look at our products. And yeah, you're like the. I mean, I believe I'm older than you. Yeah, I am older than you. But you're like
Well,
the big brother.
significantly, yeah,
But you're like the big brother in in business. I'm coming to you. I'm
yeah.
I'm seeking your wisdom and your knowledge.
And
But
I've
that's
I've
what's great.
learned a lot from you, my friend. I've learned a lot from you as well.
Well, you know what? Humbly gratitude. I'm grateful to have you as a friend, man. Um, I couldn't ask for anybody better to work with, and you'll laugh at this one. uh, I asked you about going and looking for Pantherina,
Mm.
and you're like, yeah, go ahead, man. Expensive. Boy, are you not wrong.
Oh, I know.
I ended up.
Yeah. It's
We
crazy.
now have a friend in common, Mister Oleg. I have met some of the people that you have met in the world. So what is it with this mushroom? It
Awesome.
brings people together. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I hope to have him on at some point here as well.
Oleg's great people. It's out of my league and out of my range right now. Like, no, my loyalty's to you anyway. You know that. But I was seeking
Yeah.
Pantherina. Um, so out of my league. But yeah, no, Pantherina is expensive, man. It
Yep.
was the last check I did was like 1,100 a pound or something. No, that was a kg. 1,100 a kilo.
Yeah,
American.
I mean, I can find it cheaper, but it just doesn't make sense, like, economically for me I'd have to buy 20 kilos. I'd have to drop, 15 grand. And then, like, people, so little amount of people want to buy it at that level. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
It's too expensive. It's not worth it. Um, but so yeah, I'm back to here. So yeah, about our products in our store. I like to. So our target audience is the baby boomers. There's only 65 million of them here in North America alone. Worldwide, there's 6 billion people that are using natural health products daily.
Wow.
And if you look at the percentile of the people on the planet that are over the age of 50, and you think that, I don't have those numbers in front of me. I think it was, I don't want to spit out a wrong number, but a large, substantial portion of those baby boomers in North America alone suffer with chronic pain, whether it be neuropathy, fibromyalgia, uh, MS, CRPS. Um, these are all chronic pains, and in a lot of cases with terrible injuries, arthritis sets in. Um, or frozen limbs, frozen shoulder, frozen, which is excruciating and painful in and of itself. We specialize in pain, with the Amanita and ADHD. Um, it's funny, my main focal point originally was the herbs. Now it's the Amanita. Now it's the Amanita.
Hmm.
Um, I want it in all forms. I want it every way I can. Um, we have created a topical arthritic blend. It breaks down the crystals causing arthritis. So when you're breaking down the crystals and you're taking care of the nerve pain because of the muscimol, it and that's the one we have in preclinical testing right now. They're very excited. The active ingredient is cholesterol. Uh, it breaks down the crystals, like I said. So to help people and give people mobility, to be able to move, and you can combat that internally with the gummies and the topical. So you're doing simultaneously. It's going right to the GABA receptors. You're really hitting it instead of the way our modern world today. They want to go to the opiate receptor for everything.
Yep.
Man, we're so full of receptors in our bodies. Like Amanita naturally goes to the GABA, and that's where your pain. That's where your body recognizes that there's pain in the first place. So if you go to the opiate receptor, you're just dulling your mind to it. You're not actually killing the pain, and then you end up with addicts, and then you're back to Amanita. Amanita is an anti-addictive, so why not start with Amanita in the first place? So that's I think the only thing. But I mean, we're not that different than you on that. You have your own line of products that you work with Muscamal, and I carry your products and glad to do so. Speaking of which, I need to place an order here, bro.
We can do that, absolutely. And speaking of which, too, I want to try your pain cream, and if it's maybe it's something that we could start carrying as well. So,
Yeah,
we should do a little swap trade for some cream.
nice. I can do that, man. I think that would be great. And then Amanita Dreamer with her eyeball rub there, man. That stuff works pretty good too. If you've tried that or not, I don't know.
I don't think I have tried that. No.
It works better than Tiger Balm, and there's no stink to it.
Yeah, nice. That's good.
You know, like it's funny. I when I first started, and I saw you and I saw her, and I was like, oh wow, look at I just someday I'll be up with them. And here I am, you know, it's such an honor to be here. And
you were here the whole time, my friend.
I just didn't know I was, brother.
Yeah. I just needed to catch up in the physical, you know? So we'll finish where we started, which is exactly how I like to write my music. I don't do like, verse, chord, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I always go on these weird long tangents that then loop around somehow back to right where we started. So research.
You and I both.
Yeah. So you're doing some research, man.
Yeah. Back when you're talking about when I found you and I found Amanita Dreamer?
No, research. You're starting the clinical trials and stuff.
Oh yeah. Actually, I have the whole breakdown here. I'd have to pull it up, but it's kind of neat actually. This organization, because I don't want to do on animal testing, so it became just my personal views. It made it even more difficult for me. So I found this organization. They work on zebrafish embryos under 5 days old. So why I ended up partnering with them, and this is really neat. I can send some information to you later or email you. So the embryos form all the nervous system, all the receptors, the musculoskeletal. It's outer tissue, but it doesn't form the brain or the spark of life till after day 5. It shares 86% of all our receptors, musculoskeletal structures, and how it responds to the same chemicals as us. And it's something like 65% of the receptor, or 65% of the nervous system is, 65% is affected by the same diseases as we are.
Wow.
But this body, this tissue is not cognitive up until after 5 days, and they destroy all studies at day 4 just to make sure, because there's always outliers in everything we do in this life. Sure. So what they can do is they will take a acrylic acid, let's say, they will inject the bloodstream of the embryo with markers. They'll use the acid. You'll see it's really neat. I watched it happen. The light up with the markers will travel to the area that's being damaged. When they apply our cream, those little lights that show up, they dissipate and go away.
Wow.
So effectively, you can see how much, and it's a T measurement. Like typically any when they do a test like that, they measure it. So as the T rises, that's the damage you're doing. And if the T lowers than where it was, that's the measurement between the two, telling you that this was a result, that there was an improvement. It didn't just take it back, it took away more. So you can actually get an actual finite measurement. So in that too, then you've got your toxicological, neurological, your CNS, your central nervous system. You have there's so many different toxicity testings. Then there is what's the most that you can take, what's the low level, what you can manage, figure out dosages that way, like what's going to be a proper dose, what's going to, like currently I'm running about a 1.67% of each product in the overall blend, with the organics. The organics constituting a lot more than that. But once you have those amounts established, and you know how much is too much, how much is too little, then these markers you document, and then once you document these markers and you have all of this, like for example, cholesterol, the ingredient, which is actually it's a vine out of China or any oceanic country over there. It's typically known as thunder god vine. In there's an extract that comes out. There's two extracts actually, both contain cholesterol. I won't get into the Latin names and all the concepts, but there's a rabbit hole for you.
Yeah.
Cholesterol reacts violently against the crystals in arthritis.
Wow.
So then you're going to have to test, like our skin is an organ. How does it respond to our skin? How does it respond inside of us? What are the contradictions that can happen with other medicines? Is there, or are there none? Like, so right now we are probably next week going to enter the actual clinical testing phase. We've just come to an agreement. If so, both of these are NHP products of their own, and both are registered NHP products in this country and are out for legal. But when you combine something, it becomes a new product. So right. Our goal here is to take the beautiful Amanita and be one of the first, or the first few, to have it recognized as a natural health product, and bring this out. And I want to make this a household name. I want this to be in every store. I want it to be beside the Tiger Balm because I do believe that this beautiful Amanita deserves this. This is my life's mission now, is to try to bring Amanita to the world and make people realize that, I mean, I don't want to get into the NHPPA and all that stuff, but it does have a role here. I mean, the regime that we live under is trying to stop natural health medicines. They don't want this to get out. And we are NPN. We're registered with them. We have our company code. Like, we're doing everything we can to do it lawfully and correctly. But on the other side of the coin, I am a member of the NHPPA, Natural Health Protection Product Protection Agency. And they're fighting the good fight on our behalf. That being said, this has been around for thousands of years. Current medicine's only been around for 150. Whole healing, whole plant, whole healing. This plant, this medicine needs to be out there. I always say we're all friends. We just don't know each other yet.
I love that.
All of my friends need to know about this. And sure, not everybody's going to have our understanding, Christian. Not everybody's going to dive into it like we have, and not everybody's going to have the passion for it. And some people are just trying to profit off it, and that they're mixing terrible stuff into it. All they're doing is giving this beautiful mushroom a bad rap when it doesn't deserve it. as I get it, as I receive it, I put it forward to the clients. I give it in its pure raw state. I like my product, Mother Nature, Gaia, the universe, whatever. They will present it to the people that need it most, and those people will be drawn to us, and so on and so forth. Just like you said earlier, I was always here, but I didn't know I was. It was a matter of time.
Everybody is here. And
Right?
that's another thing that I've been coming to recently, is that it's like literally everybody at some point will feel that calling. And maybe the calling doesn't have to do specifically with Amanita, but they'll feel that calling to another place that we can convene at, that we're all waiting for each other at. And I'm so glad that we're on that road together, brother. And yeah, I'm so ingratiated for your and I's relationship, and for what you're doing, and for the work that you're doing for the mushroom too. That's really incredible. I want to talk more personally with you about the research, and then see if we can potentially work together and getting that recognized product out to the world. I would love to help in any way that I possibly can. Like, regardless, like, you have an ally in me, and like I'm here to push. I'm here to work as hard as I can to help things happen. So,
I'm a loyal friend. So
yeah, I can't. We've never met in person either. We got to make that happen at some point.
Yes, we do.
It'll happen. We'll meet.
Actually, I had my videographer record the entire meeting with the lab. I have it all on video if you want to get a copy.
Please, yeah. Well, I know that you want to do a call with me anyways soon, so maybe we do that after this, and we'll talk about some of this other stuff and wrap for a bit. But
that sounds
for
great.
now, I'm just so appreciative for you, brother. I love you so much. Thank you for this time, and thanks for sharing your story. And I think that this can help a lot of people see the bigger picture for themselves and for the globe at large here. So yeah, all the love, my friend.
All the love to you too. But yet again, let's give thanks to the beautiful Amanita, because she brought us together here, and we're here in her glory to try and get her notice that she deserves. She truly deserves it.
Amen, for sure.
Amen for that. Anyway, brother, I'll talk to you soon, my good man. Thank you for the opportunity. This has been wonderful. Hope I didn't ramble too much.
No, it was perfect. Exactly what we needed, man. All right, brother. Much love.